there you are. Can you give us a hand?
What is it? What's the matter? Calm down a bit, Rosie, and tell me.
I've got a letter, Mr. Wall, from my Harry. Can you read it to me, please?
Well, that depends, young lady. Who is this Harry of yours?
Oh, please, Mr. Wall. He's my young man, and it's the first letter I've had for ages. Please read it. It's the first one I've had for ages, and I can't wait to hear what he's got to say.
Well, I don't know if I should be reading this. If it's from your young man, it might be private. I don't want to be embarrassed.
Oh, go on, Mr. Wall, please. Harry wouldn't write nothing bad. Not to me. Go on, please.
So how come you didn't ask Mrs. Hopkins down at the pub to read it to you?
You know what she's like. I don't think she likes me. And anyway, she'd tell everyone what it says. Oh, come on. Come on, please.
So you think that he may have written private things after all? I don't think I should be reading this at all.
Oh, Mr. Wall.
Well, he doesn't say very much, really. Dear Rosie, sorry we haven't seen each other lately. On me way to Brum. Should be there for a bit, so might see you in Gas Street if you're around. Love, Harry.
Oh, is that all? No kisses, no nothing?
So this young man of yours, whose boat's he on?
He ain't on the boats, Mr. Wall. He ain't off the cut.
Oh.
He drives a lorry.
Oh.
He lives in a regular house and that.
Oh, so how did you meet him then?
Last year, we was unloading near Farmer's Bridge Locks, and he was one of the drivers in the yard.
So this has been going on for a while then?
Few months, but we hardly ever sees each other. You know what it's like on the boats, Mr. Wall. We're never in one place for long.
And what do your mum and dad think about it?
They ain't bothered, Mr. Wall. They think it'll never come to nothing. But it will. I just know it. I love him and he loves me.
Well, time will tell on that one. You know, if you came to our school more often, you'd be able to read those letters yourself and write back to him as well.
Oh, Mr. Wall, you know what it's like on the boats. I'd never be able to stay more than a day or two before we were loaded and off again. It wasn't because I didn't want to come. I loved it here at the boat school with the other boat kids. Much nicer than them regular schools.
Well, you're supposed to go to the elementary school every time your boat ties up. It is the law.
Oh, but you don't know what it's like, Mr. Wall. It's horrible. The regular kid spits at us and calls us names.
Oh, come on, you're a tough girl, Rosie. I'm sure you can stick up for yourself.
Well, it still ain't nice, Mr. Wall. And the teachers, they never liked us neither.
Surely that can't be so.
It is. I could tell by their faces when I walked in. They didn't want us there and they were glad when we went. They didn't even try to teach us nothing.
What do you mean?
One time when I went in, they said they didn't have no desks for us and they made me sit on the floor and do colouring. And I was 12 at the time. Colouring? I mean, what good is that? And they made me brother, Albert, go and sit in the infants. And he was 13. Imagine that.
Yes, I can see that would be humiliating for a big strapping lad like Albert, used to earning his own living. It's a disgrace, really, but I'm afraid that's the way it is.
So me and Albert decided we weren't going no more, and we didn't. So that's why neither of us can read all right.
But surely some of the schools were all right. Some of the teachers were kind and helpful. I remember a lady, going back years now, I met her at a meeting in Coventry one time. She was the headmistress of a girls' school there. Miss Dix, her name was. Miss Selina Dix.
Was she nice to the boat kids then?
Well, she certainly took a special interest in them. Always trying to get them into school as often as possible and do something useful with them. Mind you, I must admit, even she had some funny ideas.
Oh?
Yes, someone once told me they were at a government inquiry, back in 1920 it was, when they were trying to ban women and children from living and working on the boats. Miss Dix was asked if she thought boat children were shorter than other children because they weren't fed properly. Apparently, she said that some of them were a bit small for their age, but she didn't think it was due to not being fed properly. She thought, because they didn't have a bath very often, that their skins weren't as stretchable as other children's, and that's why they didn't grow properly. Of course, I know it's nonsense. I don't know what she was thinking. An educated woman and a headmistress.
Well, you can see why we never like going to them sort of schools, can't you?
Indeed. It's a good job you were able to come here to the Boatmen's Institute, even if it was only now and then. At least you got a warm welcome.
Yes, and we didn't have to mix with the snotty regular kids. Why didn't they make more boat schools for us, Mr. Wall?
I don't know, Rosie. They really should have.
Well, they needn't bother. It's too late for me now.
Don't say that. It's not too late to learn to read and write, Rosie. And you're still so young.
Well, Mum and Dad never bothered and they've always managed all right. Anyway, I'm far too busy working on the boats. And saying that, I have to get off now. Thanks for reading me letter, Mr. Wall.
Are you going to reply to him? I could help, if it's not too soppy.
No time, Mr. Wall. Anyway, we're off to Brummagem on our next turn. With a bit of luck, I'll see him there. Bye for now.
You're in a funny mood today, Rosie. What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
You don't fool me, you know. I saw you hanging around the yard this morning, hoping to see that lad, I suppose. I don't know you've had another letter off him. Who'd you get to read it this time? I know what's going on, you know. I was young once too.
Well, then you know what it's like. I love him and he loves me.
Rosie, it's just a silly crush. You know it'll come to naught.
It's not. It's serious. And what's more...
What's more what?
He's asked me to marry him.
Oh, Rosie, no. You can't.
I can and I'm going to.
Don't be silly. You hardly know him. You've only seen him a handful of times.
I've seen him enough to know that I love him and I want to marry him.
You know your dad'll never let you. He'll kill him if he gets hold of him.
Well, I'll just make sure he doesn't get hold of him then. We'll run away if we have to.
Oh, Rosie, don't be silly. It'll never work out with this lad. You know, he's not one of us. He's not off the cut. He'll never take to boat work. You have to be born to it.
He doesn't want to work on the cut, Mum. He's got a good job driving lorries. It's good money too. Better than on the boats.
And what are you going to do while he's off driving his lorry? Are you going to go with him?
No, of course not. We'll have a proper house on the bank. I'll be a housewife like other modern women.
Can't see you doing that for long. You were born on the cut, right here in this very cabin. And this is where you belong. Why can't you find yourself a nice boat, lad, and settle down on the cut?
Because I found a nice lorry driver, lad. Harry, his name is. And I'm going to marry him whether you and Dad like it or not.
Well, I hope I'm not here when you tell your dad. He'll probably kill you as well as that Harry of yours. Oh, Rosie, it will never work. Surely you must see that. Us boaters, we can't take to life on the bank. God knows they've tried enough times to get us off the boats. I still remember in 1930 when that bloke from the Parliament, his name were Harry and all, he wanted women and kids banned from living and working on the boats.
Mum, that was years ago. It's 1938. Things are different now.
Our Hilda and her friend Nellie off of Barlow's, they went up to that Parliament place and told them, if you try and take my kids away, I'll put one babby under each arm and jump in the cut with them. That told them.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, they dropped the idea after that, so we're still here on the boats, and there's where we're staying. You mark my words.
Well, it's not where I'm staying. You mark my words.
My friend, how time has passed since we have...
I ain't seen your Rosie around lately. How's she getting on?
Oh, I don't know now. We haven't seen her for a couple of years. Since had to disown her since she married that lorry driver lad.
Oh, that's sad, Doris. Your own daughter and all.
Had no choice, Neil. My Johnny insisted on it. Said no daughter of his was going to marry a boy off the bank.
Is he a bad lad then?
I don't suppose so. Never really got the chance to find out. You know what dads are like. No one's ever good enough for their daughters. So we cut her off and I had to do the same. I do miss her though. I think about her a lot, especially since the war started.
It's always been hard for the likes of us, but it's worse now.
And our Albert's off and married too now, so there's only me and Johnny to work the boats. It's hard on us. We could do with having Rosie and her mate here to help, even if he ain't no boat lad.
Well, that's the way of the world, I suppose. Look here, I best be getting on. Do you want help to fill the next lot for your boats?
No, you're alright now. I've got to wait for Johnny to come back. I've seen another pair coming up the cut, so we'll have to wait for them to go through anyway.
As long as it's not one of them idle women. You'll be here all day waiting for them to get through. I might stay around. Be worth seeing it just to see them handling a pair of boats into the lock. Mind you, I think we might be better to get out the way. We don't want them ramming our boats, silly buggers.
Idle women? Who are they then?
Haven't you come across them yet? You're lucky, they're a right menace. It's a new government idea to help the war. Instead of women working in factories, they can volunteer to come and work on the canals with us. And they think they're coming to some sort of holiday camp. Most of them are right posh, stuck-up cows as well. And worse than that, they're useless. You have to be born to this job to do it properly.
Is that why they're called idle women? Because they're too posh to work in a factory?
No, but it should be. It's the badges they wear. IW stands for Inland Waterways, but as far as I'm concerned, it stands for idle women. Look out, here comes one now.
That's no idle woman, that's our Rosie. Rosie? That's our Rosie. What are you doing here?
Well, someone said they were wanting women to come and help on the canals, do their bit for the war, and I thought, well, who knows better than me how to handle a pair of boats, eh?
But why didn't you come back to us? We would have had you back. God knows we could do with help with our Albert gone.
You know I couldn't come back, Mum. Not with how things were left with our dad after I married Harry.
Oh, he's forgotten all that now. He'd love to see you back.
I'm not sure about that, Mum. He said I was dead to him. Where is he now, anyway?
He's taken our special vouchers into the village, try and get us some sausages. It's difficult now with rationing, with us not being settled in one place. Shops almost let you have stuff, rather keep it for the regulars.
Ah, that's right. My Bill had to get a copper to the butcher the other day, just to get him to give us a bit of stewing meat.
Anyway, never mind that now. Where is your Harry? How come he's letting you do this?
You don't know.
Oh, you haven't broken up, have you? I told you it wouldn't last.
No, we haven't broken up, but he's been called up. He's fighting in France.
Oh, my lord, what, is he alright?
Well, I don't know, I think so. I would have heard if anything had happened.
So come back to us, Rosie, love. We need you.
I can't, Mum. Not now. I've got a job with the other girls and they're relying on me. I really need to get back to them now. They'll be wondering what's happened.
You shouldn't be working with them daft buggers. You're a proper boat woman. They're just idle women.
Some of them are really nice, Nellie. Kit, our trainer, she's...
Trainer? Some snotty-nosed bitch off the bank thinks she can teach you.
She doesn't know I come from the boats, Mum. I didn't say anything in case they thought I wouldn't fit in.
Well, they must have noticed you could do the job with your eyes shut. Better than all that lot put together.
Maybe, but the girls on my boat are really nice and they work really hard. It's much harder than it is for us, coming from their soft lives. I don't want to let them down.
Oh, Rosie, I don't want to lose you again. Will you come and visit us when you can? Dad's forgotten what he said, and I know he misses you too.
Yes, of course. I miss you too, Mum. And the life we had on the canal.
But you've come back to it. Don't it make you want to stay? After the war, I mean. Come back to the boats.
No, Mum, I can't. My life's on the bank now. And when Harry comes back, we'll be starting a family.
Oh, suppose you're right. If it's anything like the last do, once the war's finished, they'll just throw the canals to the dogs, fill them in and forget them, I shouldn't wonder. Your Harry's got the right idea with his lorry driving. They're the future now.
Things can't always stay the same, Mum. No matter how much we wish they would. It's the way of the world.
It's the way of the world, all right. way of the world. You look after yourself.